Welcome back to another edition of Conference Chatter TV, where it's only week 3, but already we have one of the most anticipated showdowns of the entire Big 12 season going on this weekend, of course with Texas Tech traveling to Austin, Texas to take on the Longhorns. We'll see if UT can get a little bit of revenge from what happened last year. Thanks for stopping by again. My name is Sorrentino, and you can check my stuff out at kusports.com. Well, I've been picking games in the Big 12 all season long, and I have accumulated a 16-6 record, so we'll see if we can improve on that again this week. Let's start with that biggest game of the week. Texas Tech at number 2 Texas. A great game. I got to go with Texas, though, in this one. I think that they're going to get revenge from last season. Both teams are 2-0, but Texas Tech hasn't played on the road yet. This is not going to be like their previous 2 games were. This is going to be a jacked crowd in Austin. The game day crew, is going to be on hand for this one, and I think Texas at home prevails. It's going to be a great game, I think. It's kind of weird that it's taking place week 3 a little early, but I'm ready for it, and I know every other Big 12 fan out there is going to be ready for that one at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So I'm going to take Texas in that one. A couple of other nice games going on this weekend. Let's get right to the rest of them, which will all be taking place on Saturday. Duke at Kansas. Duke a little bit more respectable this year, but I don't think it's going to happen in Lawrence. I'm taking Kansas in this one. I've never really been a fan of the 2-quarterback system, and that's what the Blue Devils have going on right now. And Kansas clearly a more talented team. At home at Memorial Stadium, I see the Jayhawks rolling in this one just like they did last week on the road at UTEP. This Duke team not as talented. KU at home rolling in that one. And that'll be an early 11 a.m. game. Next, we have Furman at Missouri. Both teams 2-0. I was kind of looking back at it. Furman seems to schedule one kind of big game, one FBS game per year. And they've seemed to lose those the past couple of years. They lost to Virginia Tech last year. They lost to Clemson the year before. And they lost to North Carolina in 2006. And I think they'll lose to Missouri here in 2009. I'd like to see the Tigers be a little bit more convincing, though, than they were last week against Bowling Green. They kind of struggled to a 27-20 home victory. I know Missouri's had a little bit of trouble with Bowling Green in the past, but I'd like to see Blaine Gabbert and company, Derek Washington, and all the offense get back on track there against Furman. But definitely Missouri in that one. Next, Tulsa at Oklahoma. Hey, credit the Golden Hurricane. They started their first 2 games on the road. They're 2-0, but they weren't the best of opponents in Tulane and New Mexico. This is a little bit different with Oklahoma. I'm definitely taking the Sooners in this one. I mean, I know they're not going to have Sam Bradford back yet, but let's face the facts here, and that is that OU has won 25 straight home games, longest streak in the nation. They've won 45 of their past 46 in Norman. I'm not going to pick against them in this one. There's no way. Oklahoma in that one. Next, this is going to be a great game at 2:30. Number 19, Nebraska at number 13, Virginia Tech. Nebraska entering undefeated at 2-0, and Virginia Tech at 1-1, of course losing to Alabama that first game of the week. This is a great game. Nebraska, no problem with Florida Atlantic and Arkansas State to start the season. This is a little bit different. This is going to be a much different opponent, of course, in the Hokies. I think this is one of the best non-conference Big 12 games of the season. It just kind of, I don't know, it just feels like a bowl game. You know, it feels like late December, early January for this one. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech at home. This is going to be a great game, though, to kind of measure Nebraska's progress and see. I think they will be for real toward the end of the season, but hey, let's see if they have it here early on in the non-conference season. You never know. Virginia Tech has struggled on offense this year. Tyrod Taylor, their quarterback, only 2 touchdown passes in 2 games. He's been sacked 7 times. So Ndamukong Suh, that power defensive tackle for Nebraska, you never know. Might have a big game here for the Huskers. But it's early, and I think Virginia Tech plays very well at home. I'm going to go with the home team in that one. Next, Wyoming at Colorado. Oh, man. I know I said I was done with picking Colorado after last week's loss to Toledo, but I don't know. I mean, if they don't win this, I don't know when they will win all season long. Wyoming picked toward the bottom of the Mountain West this year. I know they gave Texas a run in the first half last week, but this is not a very good football team, and Colorado should win this at home. It's kind of weird. The Buffaloes are 0-2, and this will be the third consecutive week that I've picked Colorado. So I just can't pick against them in this one. Wyoming, not impressed with them, despite the fact that they gave Texas a game. So if Colorado doesn't win this one, I don't know when they'll win again this season. I'm going with the Buffaloes, and we'll see how that one plays out. Next, Connecticut at Baylor. It's an interesting one. Connecticut played North Carolina tough last week. They lost 12-10 in a very low-scoring affair, obviously. But I like Baylor and the energy that they're going to bring to this one in their home opener in Waco. I'm going with the Bears. Connecticut not as explosive a team as they were last year with their star running back Donald Brown, now playing, of course, for the Indianapolis Colts on Sundays. So I like Baylor. I think they have something brewing this year to get to that first bowl game in a while. I'm taking Art Briles and the Bears in their home opener. Next, the Battle of the Aggies, Utah State at Texas A&M. A&M coming in 1-0. They had a bye last week. Definitely going with them at home. I think I got to keep an eye on here is Jeff Fuller, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the Big 12. Caught 10 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown in Week 1. Keep an eye on Gerard Johnson, too, for Texas A&M. I think those guys are both just one of the more underrated combos, quarterback to receiver combos out there. Not a lot of attention over there, but those guys could be making some noise by the time the end of the season rolls around. I like A&M big, actually, in that one. Next, Rice at Oklahoma State. This will be a nice time for the Cowboys to bounce back after that loss to Houston. Taylor Potts threw 7 touchdowns against Rice, so Zach Robinson should have his way here against a totally outmatched opponent. No Kendall Hunter for Oklahoma State, the running back, but no problem against Rice. Iowa State at Kent State. This is going to be an interesting one. Kent State's running back is going to miss the rest of the season, so they're hurting a little bit there on offense. Not the most intriguing of matchups, but I like Iowa State in this one. Their quarterback situation should be kind of interesting to keep an eye on. Austin Arnaud, 4 interceptions against Iowa. They had to bring in Jerome Tiller. Coach Paul Rhodes said that he was going to play both of them. Not a fan of the 2-quarterback system, but I think Iowa State should prevail in this one. Look for Arnaud to kind of get the majority of the snaps unless he totally implodes again like he did last week. Let's see. That, I guess, takes us to our last one. K-State at UCLA. The Bruins 2-0 on the season. K-State 1-1 coming off that loss to Lafayette. I'm taking UCLA in this one despite the fact that 4 of their players are going to be suspended before this game. It's kind of looking at what sort of impact those 4 players were having. It's one of their starting cornerbacks, which is significant for defensive purposes, but then it's one of their running backs and 2 of their wide receivers who aren't getting that much time. I don't see it impacting the game that much. I see UCLA at home coming away with this one. K-State really struggled to put points on the board at Lafayette last week. I'm not the most confident in their ability, especially this one going to be in Los Angeles. I'm going with the Bruins on this one, so we'll see how we do. In Week 3, everybody enjoy the games. I appreciate it. And as always, I'll be back to talk about what happened in Week 3 after the games this weekend on Sunday. Thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you later.